As we explored in our first video, Brazil is host to a unique video game environment. And just as games evolved in parallel over here, so too did the culture that surrounds them. After Andre and the rest of Jogabilidade led us on our tour of Santa Efigenia, we headed back to a high-rise apartment that functions as their studio. As someone who can easily recall the days of scraping together a studio with little equipment, I loved seeing how these guys do so much with so little.
My computer does pretty much everything. We video editing and streaming. We use XSplit to stream out.
Okay.
We have.
How is the internet in Brazil, by the way?
Average, it's pretty bad, but we got fiber here, so it's
nice. Okay.
It's good upload and
Fat
good download.
pipes.
Yes. Condenser mics. This we use for podcast recordings.
Okay.
I'm the video guy. Eduardo is the podcast guy. He edits all of our audio.
This is surprisingly clean. I don't know if I could keep a studio this clean.
Yeah.
You seem to have a lot of consoles here. We got PS4.
Yeah, an Xbox One, a PS3, Wii U, PS2. Here's on Mega Drive.
Nice. And you guys have a Switch.
Yes.
Nintendo does not sell the Nintendo Switch in Brazil. Is there a agreed upon way to get the Switch? Or does everyone...
Kyle was on Santa Efigenia, where we were earlier, and he bought his through bargaining and trying to get the cheapest price, and bought on cash. But Ricardo and Eduardo bought online. The prices are 8 months from the launch, or maybe less, like 6 months from the launch. The prices are getting buyable.
Okay. As I'd learned, electronics can be prohibitively expensive for an operation like this. Thankfully, a fan of theirs living in the US offered to take shipment of the equipment there, then fly it down to Jogabilidade while on a family trip. Trusting a random person on the internet with thousands of dollars of equipment is quite a gamble, but it paid off. So 2 soft boxes here.
Yes, we usually take this camera here, this Canon 60D, and we point to the sofa, and that's pretty much our background.
And you record on cards, or do you record?
Yes, we record on cards. Unfortunately, it has a 12-minute limit, so we have to keep pressing the button every time.
You're like the Eurythmics recording when a train is not going by their apartment.
That's
what
cool.
You are.
That's pretty much accurate.
Despite obstacles like that, Jogabilidade has made the most of it, producing popular professional content that they were gracious enough to invite me onto. You do a fair amount of green screen stuff?
Just the quiz show, the one we're going to record.
Well, what do you say we turn everything on and do a show?
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
How's your Portuguese, Drew?
Yeah.
Thankfully, the trivia questions were in English, and the show turned out to be a lot of fun. Though I did feel bad for Eduardo, who had to stand by to keep restarting the camera every 12 minutes. To see how I did on the quiz show, check out the full videos on the Jogabilidade YouTube channel. Jogabilidade's resourcefulness stems, as it does with sites like theirs around the world, from a dedicated fandom. Nowhere was this fandom more visible in a higher concentration than the Brazil Game Show, which was happening that weekend in São Paulo. We had a little trouble finding the right exhibition hall. But a nice bystander set us straight.
Games é na outra.
Are we close?
É no outro pavilhão.
This is a big show floor. This is like E3 sized, or maybe PAX East. This is big. This is way bigger than I thought it would be. It's nice to see that even in Brazil, they've got PlayStation right next to Xbox. Naturally, a lot of FIFA boxes here. A little PUBG action over here in the Xbox booth. It's pretty good Brazilian Scorpion going on over here. That's a pretty good Genji. Look at that butt. Eric Pope, very big in Brazil.
There are never this many people packed around a Formula One car in America. There's also a lot of brands here that I just don't know what they are, like Pizzikas. I have no idea what Pizzikas is. There's Captain America. I don't know why he's here. Saravia. They've got a huge booth. What do you think this store is? Lojas Americanas. Xbox 360 games. It's what, 22 bucks? Meanwhile, over here, Project Cars 2 for the Xbox One, 250 reals.
And like any respectable game convention, the indie developers were out in force.
Basically a platformer, and the color changes based on the pitch of your voice, and then you can solve puzzles by singing.
There we go. I've always wanted to break a glass with my voice.
This VR game was particularly cool. The conceit is that you have to divide your attention between the teacher at the front of the classroom and a Game Boy-like device in your hands running a completely other game. BGS was like any other game convention I'd been to, with one key difference.
Brazil is nothing if not enthusiastic. This gigantic line is just to take pictures in front of some Clash Royale guys. People are real pumped about Clash Royale, and all games here, actually.
It's true. The vibe at BGS just seemed more excited, more fun.
Joey, I think there's esports going on over here. Everybody is super pumped to be here.
Our friend Gus Lanzetta had one theory for this.
Here, yeah, we have a lot of people with Xbox Ones and PS4s, but most of the country, people are still on PS2s. You know, and some people have Xbox 360s, and we kind of lose track of that because the industry is only focused on what's moving units and games. So, but yeah, like most of the country, if you go into the country, people are still on PS2s playing DVD-Rs or booting games from a hard drive. So I guess that's why you see so many happy faces at BGS, like you told me, like those people are getting a chance to play games they are not gonna own anytime soon, even though they're out.
I felt like I was beginning to get a handle on Brazil, as much as one can do with a diverse country of 200 million people. For help with this, I met up with an indie developer named Lannie Neely, an American expat living in São Paulo. For a more literal taste of the culture, Lannie and his wife Marina introduced Joey and I to some staples of Brazilian cuisine. We started with pão de queijo, a cheesy bread with a strange gooey consistency.
There's nothing like pão de queijo because they use the flour from a cassava root, not from wheat, right?
Oh wow, it's good, isn't it? It's not what you expected.
No.
Right? It's non-comparable. You can't translate it.
No. Next up was my personal favorite, the coxinha.
That's super good. It's like a breaded mashed potato with cheese and chicken inside. There you go, man. I like all of this.
With a nice base established, we continued on to our real destination, Cerveja Artesanal São Paulo, a craft brewery famous for its board game nights. We asked the bar's owner, Lisa Torano, about the popularity in Brazil of board games and bars like hers.
By our economical position now that people are having more money, and we're starting to take this as a serious hobby. Because in the past it was like, okay, so like 10% of my friends would play. Now I have like 20, 30, and you see on the magazines and you see people talking about it, you see people playing at bars. But in the past it was crazy. In Brazil you don't do this. Most part of people who like it here is because it's like free, you can sit and play, and nobody's gonna be judging you. And if you have any doubt about the games, they can ask me or my staff because we're all nerds. Yeah. I played LARP last year, in fact. After 10 years not doing this kind of thing with myself, I did play a LARP. Game of Thrones last year. It was fine. I sew. So okay. I made my own clothes, and cool. I bought a wig. I like it.
So which house were you?
Targaryen, of course.
Oh, okay.
The board game scene, it's very strong right now.
Really?
It's stronger than an RPG. And like 15 years ago, RPG was everything. Nowadays, board games.
Why do you think that is?
I'm connected to a series of Facebook groups for nerds. Board game people are more organized. They actually create meetings where they go and find people and multiplicate the information about the hobby. And RPG is like, I don't know, everybody's a fucked up artist. And they always fight.
Are board games always or half the time translated into Portuguese, the manuals?
Not always. They're not even translated. The most part, like 80% is in English. Some percentage is in Spanish, and like 10% is in Portuguese. But it's growing, like through the crowdfundings, and also new
so
games.
they're crowdfunding just the translation of the game. Okay.
In fact,
not a new
the
game.
printing and the translation. Because they're not gonna import the game. They're gonna translate it and they're gonna print here in Brazil and sell. But we have games that are made in Portuguese as well. And we have there's this game, Sheriff of Nottingham. It's very good. And it's made by Brazilians, but it was done in the US and then they brought it to Brazil. It's crazy because I bought it there and I say, oh, I bought this game, it's very cool. And my friend looked at me, he said, this guy, it's Brazilian. And I said, really? And he said, yes, it's Brazilian. I'm like, oh, I feel such a fool. I went to the US to buy a game that's made by a Brazilian. Great. At least once a month I receive a call from somebody saying, oh, I know that you make gatherings for playing board games. Can I present a new game that I'm creating? And it's man.
Wow, it's like a play test.
Wow. And they start a community here because when they start the crowdfunding, you can bet that the people who are early users, playtesters, they're gonna be the first ones to buy. And I think and I wish that we have a lot of places like this in the future.
Sure enough, Lannie invited us to playtest a card game that he's developing. Lisa and her bar were a great way to close out São Paulo. Like Brazil itself, the city is massive, complex, and grows on you quickly. It was time to see if the same was true for another city. If São Paulo is the New York-style high-stress business city, Rio is a laid-back Southern California beach town by comparison. But any city is easy to love when there are cochinas on every corner. Rio's easygoing nature permeates everything, even in a tense environment like a media company. We were invited to tour one by Gabriel Carbonelli, aka Totoro, who, as I'm learning is quite common in Brazil, is yet another Renaissance man. Totoro is an actor and hosts his own YouTube series out of the basement of the TV studio where he works.
Is that you?
Yes, yeah, nice. No one knows like each other. They just want to
This is a movie?
That's me here. Continue.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
And for the second time that week, I appeared on a foreign language YouTube show. Totoro took me on a tour of some of Brazil's more unique games. Keep an eye on his channel for the full video, featuring the Master System version of Street Fighter.
The frame rate's not great.
No, it's not. It's really not the best one, right?
The famed Monica conversion of Wonder Boy, and this overly smug frog.
Aqui começando X1 muito especial. Aqui do meu lado está Drew Scalum. Hey, Drew.
Oi.
I could have played weird Brazilian video games all day, but we had one more appointment to get to that night. Alright, so far a lot of our trip has been focused on video games in Brazil. But there's one game in particular that a lot of Brazilians are excited about. It's called soccer. It's soccer. As stadiums go, Rio's Maracanã made quite an impression. The whole place was packed shoulder to shoulder, at least where the home team fans were sitting. and a group in the crowd drummed throughout the entire match. We even got to see a goal. By the way, this was a Wednesday.
I think I understand soccer now.
Sure, video games and soccer are different, but in the grand scheme, they're just ways to have fun. The game was infectious. I didn't know what everyone was chanting, but I wanted to sing along. They jumped, so I jumped. I'd never been to a soccer game before, or BGS, or a foreign game channel, or Brazil. But somehow, thousands of miles from California, I felt right at home. If you liked this video, you can thank these folks who support ClothMap on Patreon. Their contributions help pay for flights, accommodation, transport, guides, translators, camera operators, editors, music licensing, and more. If you think stories like this deserve to be told and would like to see more videos like this, consider joining us over at Patreon. You'll also get early access to videos, behind-the-scenes notes and documents, extended cuts, live stream chat, and the ability to vote on where ClothMap goes next.